Hello and welcome to the Social Talks, where we bring you stories that matter and shine a light on the truth. Today we focus on the tragic situation in Gaza, where the death toll is mounting and civilians are paying the highest price in what was meant to be a conflict-free zone. Over 41,000 Palestinians have lost their lives in this ongoing war. The majority of them are civilians, families, children and elderly people who sought shelter in hospitals, schools and designated safe zones have found themselves at the center of relentless airstrikes. Speaking from Gaza, a UN representative described the dire situation. There are no more safe places in Gaza. The shelters are overcrowded, and even those who thought they were protected have been hit. These remarks reflect the growing frustration and desperation in a region that was already struggling under the weight of years of blockade and economic hardship. Amnesty International Secretary General Agnes Calmard stated, "Targeting civilians and civilian structures such as hospitals and schools is a clear breach of international law. These attacks on civilians, particularly in protected zones, must be investigated as potential war crimes." Despite international condemnation, the violence continues. Israel maintains that it's targeting Hamas militants hiding in civilian areas. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, when asked about the civilian casualties, said, "Our actions are aimed at defending our citizens from terror. We do not target civilians, but we cannot allow Hamas to use human shields." However, critics argue that the principle of proportionality, a cornerstone of international law, is not being respected. John Daggett, former UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in the Palestinian Territories, remarked, "The scale of civilian deaths, particularly in designated safe areas, shows a disproportionate use of force. Israel must be held accountable for these grave breaches of Geneva Conventions." The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is deepening, with hospitals overwhelmed, nearly half of the population displaced, and basic necessities like food, water and medical supplies running out. Local doctors are sounding the alarm. Dr. Yara Sabri, a physician working in one of Gaza's last operating hospitals, said, "We are running out of everything: medicine, blood, even space. We have children dying in front of us because we cannot treat them." International calls for a ceasefire continue to be ignored. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres pleaded for immediate cessation of violence, saying, "The killing of civilians, particularly children, is unacceptable. This must stop now." The situation is growing more desperate by the day, and the world watches as Gaza burns. Civilians, especially children, continue to be the main victims, their lives shattered by a war that seems endless. The question remains, when will the violence end and who will be held accountable? The calls for justice grow louder as international leaders and human rights organizations demand investigation into what many are calling war crimes. The people of Gaza, displaced and traumatized, are left to wonder if safety will ever truly exist in their land. Thank you for watching The Social Talks. This is Sarah Al-Zobi. Please like, comment and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing tragedy and other pressing global stories.